Chapter 32. The Price of Freedom. Thunder boomed. Purple rain clouds burst over us like rotting grapes. You'd better see how Ruku and Muthu are doing, Arul said. I'll sell what we found. Sheets of rain blinded me as I hurried to the graveyard. In spite of how brave you'd been with Kudi during Diwali, I was scared I'd find you cowering with fear when I returned. What I found was even scarier. Your body was a tight knot. Your lips twitched, but no sound escaped them. Your forehead was hot, and your hair was mangled with sweat. Kudi was pacing about restlessly, as if he understood you weren't well, and it upset him as much as it upset me. Her fever's worse, I think, Muthu said. His own eyes still had a feverish gaze. Rest. I'll look after you both. Muthu fell into an exhausted sleep. I dipped our towel in cool rainwater and squeezed it over your eyes, but your forehead stayed burning hot. I dripped water past your lips every time I could. I lost track of how desperate hours went by. The wind picked up. It tore away the plastic tablecloth we used as a door and sent it flapping like a bat across the dark graveyard. Kudi and I raced after it. I pinned it down, but only after it was nearly torn in two. Struggling against the wind and lashing rain, I tied the ragged pieces as best I could in the gap. But everything inside was already wet. A rash had broken out on your back, making your skin as rough as sandpaper, and you moaned every now and then. Muthu slept on, not waking even when Arul staggered into our storm-ravaged shelter without money and with hardly any more food. I ran into a nasty gang, he said. They stole our stuff and shoved me into a gutter, but thankfully they didn't beat me up. All we had for dinner was what we'd been able to scrounge out of the garbage: a tin of some yellow-green slop, 2 rotting bananas, and some moldy rotis. But hunger was clawing so fiercely at my stomach that I shut my eyes, scooped up a handful of the swill, and stuck it in my mouth. Let's save the fruit for Ruku and Muthu, Arul suggested. I scraped off the green fuzz growing on a roti. We ate in silence, broken only by your labored breaths and the rainstorm lashing the banyan's branches. Our bellies were empty, but now I was used to that. Now I also felt empty of hope. I hardly slept, and when dawn came, I knew I needed to make a plan. Somehow I had to find a way to get money. I needed to buy you good food, medicine for your fever, and things to shore up our shelter to make it comfortable. A thought entered my mind as I stroked Kudi. I pushed it away, but it returned. I didn't want to. I had no right to. I couldn't do it. I could. I had to. While you 3 continued to sleep, I led Kudi out of the graveyard. We walked toward the part of town where the rich girl lived. My feet felt heavy as sacks full of scrap metal, and it wasn't just my feet that dragged. It was like my mind was dragging my heart along, and it and the rest of my body didn't want to come. When I reached the gate with Goddess Lakshmi's name on it, I knelt on the wet sidewalk and hugged Kudi close. Kudi, I have to help my sister and Muthu. This is the only way. Do you understand? He stared straight into my eyes. His tail didn't wag. I'm sorry, Kudi. I'm really, really sorry. I'm not sure how long I clung to him, rubbing my forehead against his rain-plastered neck and breathing the scent of his wet fur. He nudged me with his warm nose, like he wanted to comfort me, but it only made me hurt worse. Somehow, I forced myself to clang on the gate. The gardener opened it. You again? What do you want? I'm here to sell our dog, I said. Can't wake them at the crack of dawn, he grumbled. But I pushed past him, strode down the drive, and rapped hard on the front door. A maid opened it and would have slammed the door in my face, except that the mother of the girl was close behind. "Yes?" the mother said. "Cootie, our dog," I said. "I'm here to sell him. 2,000 rupees, you told me." "Prabha will be thrilled. She fell in love with him." I knelt and pressed my face against Cootie's warm neck one last time. "Go in, Cootie." Gently I pushed him. "This is your new home." He cocked his head like you did when you were listening hard. I knew he was trying to understand. "You're a smart dog, Cootie. A good dog. We have to give you away, though. For Ruku. Understand?" He whined. I gave him another gentle shove. "You'll like this place. Stay here." The mother rustled off and returned with money and a package. "Here's money and some food, and he'll be happy here, I promise," she said. My eyes were blinded with tears, and I couldn't thank her. Without saying another word, I turned around and walked away. Cootie tried to follow. I heard him yowl, heard his toes clip-clopping on the floor as he struggled to break free before the door slammed behind me.